everybody. How's everyone doing? If you're a parent of a senior, all the very best. I can feel your pain. I've been there. I hope your senior is not as crazy as my son was, who'd love to keep things in the last minute. He submitted like about 19 applications in 14 days. And trust me, I had any sleep, barely had any sleep, and neither did he. And there were a lot of things that we could have done differently. I wasn't a college counselor at that time. I didn't have the kind of resources that I have, the knowledge that I have gained. So that is why I just wanted to share with you. And this whole session is recorded. So sit back and watch. Whatever questions you have, please type away and I will address them. And this session is a learning session. And please don't think that you're supposed to know everything or, oh my God, I don't know a lot of things. You're not supposed to know them. I didn't know them when I was a parent. I went to school, UC Berkeley, to do my college counseling. I have mentors who are ex-admission officers, and that's the knowledge that I have gained. And that's not just possible for a parent. You don't have the time to research, and Google doesn't always give you the right information. So it's my purpose, either with my, I'm sorry, I'm going to mute everybody. Yeah, so it's my purpose to empower parents to educate you. And that's the reason I have the Facebook group, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, just about every social media. So I'm going to jump ahead into my presentation. Any questions you have, you can please type away. And there's no question as a silly question. You're silly if you don't ask. So let me get started. You're here. Yeah, it's the college application. It's mostly geared towards seniors, but I know a lot of you are curious, so you're perfectly in the right place and you're welcome. I'm just going to go over what is the essential things that are needed in a college application when your seniors are just about to apply to colleges. I know the whole application process is tedious and stressful, not just for students, but the parents as well, because senior year is very critical. They have to keep up with their grades. A lot of colleges ask for the mid-year report, and also the college process is sort of not uniform at all. Okay, the college application checklist is the application itself, right? So it's again non-uniform. There are so many application portals that are out there, and I will go through them, like the different application based on whether your child is applying to the UC, the Texas, the California state, everything. Okay. What it basically asks you in the application is personal information, like the parental thing, your race and your citizenship, college credits, just about every personal information. Okay. Of course, that's also a place where you plug in all your extracurricular activities. There are 10 spaces, and leadership goes absolutely on top. Then you put in your summer activities as well in your extracurricular activities, internships, jobs, the more you accumulate. And also, please don't think it's just the 12th grade. It's the sum total of 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So you need to start everything from 9th grade. Okay, and of course, essays. Essays are such an important part of it. I've done a lot of research in it. Like, working on your essay gives you a 10 times more leg up in the college application process. And this is one of the areas that my older son completely struggled. He was not a very emotional or a creative writer. And that's why I spend a lot of time in essays with the students that I counsel. And of course, there's 5 honors section that you can fill out. It's either academics or other honors that you can fill out in the application. Of course, if there are any disciplinary infractions, they have to be reported in the application. And test scores, right now it's test optional. I would, if my students scored more than 1450, I am letting them submit their scores. If your student has scored less than 1,200. It depends on what school that they're applying. I usually don't send those scores. I do a lot of research on the colleges. And based on what their requirements are, if my student is in the 75th percentile, then I make them submit the scores. Okay. And of course, supplemental essay is so important. And I have developed sort of a formula that I use with students. That is absolutely needed. And the thing is, it's not that the senior does not want to do a good job with the application. It's just so overwhelming. There are so many moving parts and components that you have to fill out in the application essay. And you have to be like super organized when it comes to the supplemental essay. If your child is submitting for 10 colleges, 10 times 2 or 3, I would say 2.5, 25 supplemental essays and 1 Common App essay. God, that's a lot. And also there's a lot of information that needs to be filled out by your senior school. One is this, it needs to be submitted by a guidance counselor. And trust me, guidance counselor is the god or the king in this chess game called college admissions. Okay, so the official high school transcript is sent by your college counselor. And some of the schools like Georgia Tech, they want the transcript before November 1st. Or if you're a Georgia resident, they need it by October 5th. I don't know why they're so demanding, but you just got to give them. So you have to keep in mind like what colleges need what. They're not uniform. And some of the schools ask for a mid-year report of the senior grade. And also during the course of looking over your application, an admission officer might think, okay, I think he's a potentially good candidate, he or she, but I want to check their mid-year report before I make a decision. So they will ask for that. Okay, and recommendations, of course, are extremely important. The counselor sends a secondary school report that sort of rates that school. Okay, this school offers 25 APs, on an average student does 15, and your senior is sort of compared against that. And I will show you the whole application as an admission officer sees it, okay? So that's very important. The counselor recommendation is what the admission officer reads. So it's very important to have a good relationship with the counselor. And of course, teacher recommendation. Teacher recommendation is very good. The counselor is comparing your student in terms of the other students in the school. Your teacher, the teacher recommendation is more about academics, how your child performs in the classroom. Got it? Okay, so now that I've told you like what are the different components that are needed, I'm going to confuse you further by giving you the different application portals that are out there. Okay, so the most popular is Common App. Okay, over 700 schools use Common App. That means you have one portal where your senior is going to fill out all the information and submit it from that portal. Got it? Now is where it gets a little bit more complicated. You have the coalition app as well, because some schools don't get into the Common App. It's like schools like Rutgers. But good news is UIUC, which most of my students apply, has come into the Common App. So coalition app is no longer needed. So this is the second application portal that your student or senior needs to consider if the college is not within the Common App. Okay, next. People in Texas or students who want to apply to schools in Texas, like the UT Austin or Texas A&M. Guess what? You have another portal called Apply Texas. So that is like the whole process again. Whatever I explained to you back there needs to be repeated again for this application portal as well. Okay, so it's the third application portal. Next. The UCs, the wonderful UCs, all the UCs, UC Berkeley, Davis, all the things that I've listed here, use the UC portal. Got it? The UCs have like 4 essays that you need to write, right? So it's just mind blowing over how complicated this thing is. And a senior who's like 17 has to go through this. We are all from the corporate world. We have a project manager. This whole thing is like a whole project, and your child doesn't really have the skills to manage that. They totally need guidance of you. Then I'm going to complicate it further. If your child, or you live in California and you want to apply to the California state universities, you got to use this portal. It all started when I have a lovely girl who wants to do biotech. She corrects me every time when I say biomed. She's like, no, it's biotech. I want to do gene hacking. I'm like, okay. So we found California State University in Pomona that has biotech. And guess what? We cannot use Common App. We cannot use any of the apps or the UC because she's going to apply UC Davis, which has a wonderful biotech program. Now we have to create the third portal, which is the California State University, and it opens only on October 1st. So you have between October 1st and November 30th to apply to the California State Universities. Is your head spinning? Mine did too. Trust me, it's going to get better. Are you like this, overwhelmed? I was when my older son pretty much applied for it, but hang in there. Okay, so the help is on the way. And that is why I sort of created a program. In summer, I had many essay boot camps because summer is a good time to get all your essays in. So I partnered with a wonderful creative writer, Brooke Schaffner, who's also an expert in scholarships, scholarship essays, full ride essays, and everything. And we finished our Common App essays and everything. And since August 1st, the Common App portal opened, there's a lot of places that I find students struggling or not filling up completely. So that is why I created a boot camp of sort, where I call it Conquer College Applications Bootcamp. So I have partnered with former admissions officer, whom I'm going to introduce you with. They are former admission officers of Penn State and Columbia University, who've had like a collective experience of 40 plus years to guide through the various process. And I'll tell you that the application process is not very easy. And there are a lot of tricks that your senior can apply, such as, do you apply with a major or you go undecided? Again, that depends on the college. You stand to have a better chance if you go undecided, but it does not apply in every case. So those are some of the nuances that we will cover. So this bootcamp is supposed to be, it's this Saturday, and it's a 2.5-hour boot camp where we go over the different tiles in the Common App, and I will also show you how Common App looks and the complete part of it. So why join the application thing? So I'll tell you that I've done a lot of research, and an admission officer precisely has 8 to 10 minutes to go over a college application. And I'll precisely show you what they look for and what goes on in the process. So the question is, how will your senior stand out, right? So yes, the admission officer has about 10 minutes in your application. How is it that you showcase whatever you've done? Yes, you've worked hard all 4 years. Now it's time for embellishing it. Now it's time to like write it properly. How are you going to word your extracurricular activity? You have 150 characters, okay? And then you have the essay, which is 650 words. What are some of the topics that are good and bad, right? So those are the kind of decisions that help your seniors stand out. Okay, so how do you maximize your chance? Right? It's not enough if you accumulate a lot of activities or get good grades or get an exceptionally good standardized test result. But if you don't pick the right mix of colleges, For instance, your college list is very reach heavy. Reach heavy is, for instance, the Ivies whose acceptance rate is 10 or less. If you just jam up your Common App with 10 of those colleges, then you don't have that much of a chance of standing. So all these kind of decisions is where I felt seniors needed the most help with. Okay, so that's what it is, maximizing your college application. And I'm going to show you what the admission officer looks for in your application. So I'm very sorry, but I have to say that your senior is a PDF file to the admission officer, and I'm going to show you what the PDF file looks like. So this is one of the sample common application that the admission officer is going to see. This is from my UC Berkeley, where we had to sort of mimic the whole admission committee scenario, where we go over this. We are given a rubric where we select students for a dummy university. So this is how the whole application looks like. So I'm the college admission officer, so are you, and we are going to check the profile of this particular student who is broccoli. So his nationality is here, his language is here, his family is here, everything about his parents is in here. And I'll tell you precisely what the admission officers look for. Of course, the current and the recent year courses, that's something that they consider as well in the senior year. How have they challenged themselves? Honor roll, like I mentioned, there are 5 spaces, so you get to maximize them. Sometimes I have to remind my students, hey, can you please tell me what academic achievements? Oh, I got this award in 9th grade. So it's very important to accumulate everything and showcase what you have done. And of course, a future plan. Of course, it's not a most critical thing in the decision, but it's good to do. Testing scores, of course, like your SAT and your ACT scores goes there. Either one of them. Then your activities. This is the extracurricular activities. How well you write that in 150 characters. That's very, very important. Leadership goes right on top. Okay, and of course, the essay. So like I mentioned, it's like 10 minutes that they have for a college application. They spend about 5 minutes in the personal essay or the personal statement, right? So the first introduction has to be smashing. It needs to have a hook that sort of hooks into the admission officer. And this is where I have seen most of my students struggle to write their emotions into it. It's not like you have to be the best creative writer. For that, there is a general assumption that the admission officers are experts, English, and no. What they're looking for is an insight into your senior's personality. What is it? I have a formula for that. So 1/3 of it is to write about an experience that you've had, any kind of experience. Another third is what actions did you take to sort of mitigate or take actions to overcome that experience. And another third is how are you going to contribute to the college. So these are the 3 things that your application essay has to sing, right? So this is what they look at. Next is the discipline or the school interruptions. Any of the state university, their academics, the contacts, right? And the most important part is, of course, you have the transcript, but I'm going to show you the counselor recommendation. Boom. This is what determines how the admission officer is going to look at, right? So this is your counselor recommendation. So the way it works is in a school, they have a baseline child who's like sort of taken like 22 or 23 APs, who's done extracurricular activities, all the sort of the enchilada. your student is sort of compared with them. Okay, so if that child has exceeded, then they get the top few. If they have matched, then they're outstanding. If they are sort of 22.5, they're excellent. If they are sort of 15 APs, they're very good. So that is how your senior is sort of rated based on their academic achievement, the extracurriculars, and personal qualities. So yes, counselor is their best friend. Okay, so next comes the teacher evaluation. So how you pick your teacher and how you write your brag sheet or sort of remind them of your achievements or any kind of project that you've done, or you've shown like academic interest, you've shown rigor, all that comes into play, right? So this is how the teacher is going to recommend them, like their academic achievement, intellectual promise, a whole lot of things that are there, right? And along with that, they write a personal letter. And of course, the colleges don't want like letter, oh yeah, he was a good student. They need like details about specific areas that your child showed some kind of exceptional quality in that. That is what colleges look for. So that's what I have so far. And of course, you see here, this is what I've just highlighted some of the sentences that a teacher has written. As a new school founded on Project School has challenged Brock to pursue academics beyond basics and truly strive for success in solving authentic real world problems. So they like to see sentences or sort of recommendation that goes deeper into a student's character or prowess. Okay, so that is how a common application looks like, and that's similar for coalition or the UCs. The UCs are different. They have 4 different applications. I don't have an example of UC or the California State or UT, but they're all similar. Okay, so going back to this, any questions you have, type away. Okay, so basically, why did I create this bootcamp? Because I wanted to understand this whole application process from the perspective of admission officers. So who better than to have former admission officers? They also happen to be my mentor, and we work and collaborate together. Okay, so what is it that you get? You get like expert guidance. They've had 40 years of experience in counseling students. They do it for law and MCAT and everything. And it's a quite complicated process, and we help your student like step by step, tile by tile, going through the whole thing. And guess what? Even we would like to invite parents if you want to come to the bootcamp and show up, and so that you can sort of work with your child. And I will also be providing you with my supplemental essay formula as a bonus. Supplemental essays are very, very important because it also shows how interested your child is in that college. Okay, so you will also be able to create a stellar profile that is needed for all colleges by filling out the different aspects of the Common App or any other app. Of course, you'll have the peace of mind. I didn't have it certainly at that time because I didn't have the best of resources. So this is one thing that will give you the peace of mind. And teens automatically are procrastinators. I'm not just putting them down. I work with a lot of teens. I'm an academic coach and an executive functioning coach. And it's not like they don't want to do it. It's simply overwhelming, and they would just like to push it till the end. It's not a comfortable thing to do. So they certainly could use a lot of guidance. So I'm just going to go over who the instructors are. We have Jeannie. She is the ex-admission officer of Columbia University. She also graduated from Bernard, Columbia. And she basically counsels a student for MCAT, law, and that's her specialty. And she goes over all the counseling and the college applications. And Clark, he was the admission officer in Penn State. But right now, both of them have their own business of counseling, standardized testing, and admissions. And yeah, they specialize in different kinds of counseling. And of course, I'm also going to be there. I basically am doing research under student productivity and executive functioning under Peg Dawson, who's a renowned psychologist. And I'm also an independent educational consultant. I've done my college counseling from UC Berkeley, and I use those methods in my counseling. Okay, so now coming to the point, what is covered in our bootcamp, or what is covered in our session? Number one, we will give you the complete review of all the components, the Common App, the Coalition app, the Apply Texas, everything, and you and your student will learn the common pitfalls to avoid. I'm also going to give you the detailed agenda for that. Okay, how to highlight activities, right? What order should it go first, right? And how to write the 150 characters. Okay, and how to explain the different grades that you've taken, whether you need to self-report, whether you need to do the SRAR, all that kind of information will be provided to you. Okay, and basically we will help you with the profile, family, education, the activities, writing for all these common apps. And of course, applying. When you apply, do you need to submit your SAT, ACT scores? So those are some of the decisions that we will help you with. And this is something only a former admission officer can help you with, is whether you pick a major or you go undecided. At what situations you go undecided, where you pick your major. Okay, then we'll also, to complicate this whole application process, you have early decision, early action, regular decision. Like, what are the deadlines for that? How should you apply? What are those things? Does early decision mean that you have a better chance of getting into that college? So for our financial aid, right, is early action better? Is regular decision better for a certain school? So all these critical decisions is what we're going to help you with. And I'm just going to go over the complete agenda that Clark shared with me. So we are going to go over the Common App, registering the dashboard, whether you need financial aid, you apply with a major, do you want to do combined programs, how you select about, I have a student who is applying to the pre-pharmacy, pre-dentistry, the BSMD, the engineering, computer science, biotech, just the whole gamut. Okay, demographics, does it make a difference? We are going to go over that. Only say fluent language. Like, these are the kind of decisions that we will help you go over. Education, we expect you to take a printout of your transcript before you come to the boot camp, so that you can fill out all the grades and everything. And we'll also sort of go over what is the self-reported academic record and everything. We will tell you whether you need to put in your unweighted or your weighted GPA, your future plans, testing, whether you need to self-report or you need to send an official score. Which one should you send? The SAT, ACT, should you go test optional for certain schools? So these are the kind of critical decisions that can move the needle. This is like the needle mover for your senior, right? An extremely important effort that they need to put in. It takes a lot of attention and time to fill in all the tiles. And I will go over my Common App myself, and I'll show you the different things that are there. Okay, activities, you get 10 of them. So we'll help you how to put the description and the writing, which is sort of the essay part of it as well, like what needs to be done. And of course, this is an extremely important aspect of Common App or everything. It's called the FERPA. FERPA, it's mainly for recommendations. Your student needs to waive the right to look at the recommendations, because teachers and counselors won't write the recommendation if you mention that you will be seeing that. You can see, their students can see the recommendation when they go to college. So they need to waive FERPA. So there are a lot of decisions that are involved in this. We are going to walk you through that. And college search tab, like for example, Common App, you can apply up to 20 colleges, but the UCs are not part of it. So you can apply to the UCs. The apply text is not part of it. So we'll help you do that as well. And so moving forward. Bonuses, we have some bonuses that we are including. An important component of the Common App is the resume, right? So you need to, there's a specific template that we will show you to put the resume in. We don't want a longish 2-page resume, just going over a lot of things. Admission officers don't have enough time for that. So we will give you a crisp resume format. You will need 2 versions. You will know why you need 2 versions and where you need to attach them in the Common App. And essays, we will go over the essays, some very bad topics that you should totally stay away from, and some very good ideas and why that also we will go over. And I'm going to share my supplemental essay formula that I use with my students to help students write. They will get my free brainstorming questionnaire before they start writing a supplemental essay. Right, you cannot like coldly write the prompt about it, right? That's not the way you go about writing it. It's much more difficult to answer the supplemental essay prompt without having some kind of brainstorming or some kind of guidance to sort of answer the question. So I have a wonderful brainstorming effort. I mean, a whole document that I make my students write first, then I make them pick different things to write in the supplemental essays. We'll go over them as well. So what will you get? By the end of the bootcamp, we would have gone over all the specific techniques for completing it and things that you would have potentially overlooked. Not that everybody is going to overlook. I mean, there are a few who don't overlook and can do it on their own. That's perfectly fine. But I believe in working smart, right? Working smart. Like if you can get some help in fulfilling what is supposed to be the most important effort or the last step in your child's college journey, I would definitely take it. I wish I had that kind of resources for my older son. I did have a counselor. I did have an essay coach, but he just did not have time to implement all those changes because he just kept things in the last minute. Okay, so how do you enroll? You can go here to my webpage. It's the Common App Bootcamp, and you can register here. Okay, and I just wanted to quickly go over how the Common App looks and the different tiles and areas which typically a high school student will open. So basically, this is how a Common App looks. I do have the Coalition app, and I don't have the UC app yet. So this is how you apply to all the colleges. All the colleges are listed here. You add them here. I think I have maxed out on my college. I'm just going to remove New York University and add. Okay, so pick, if anybody can type a specific college they want to add, I can add that and see what their requirements are, and I'll go through it each one by one. So if you want to type away any college name, I can help you. Meanwhile, yes. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you the components, the profile that is here, the family, okay, the education, right? The testing. This is where you submit your test results, and I will help you. Sure, I have them, absolutely. Activities, these are sort of the activities that you need to do. So basically, this is Anya's extracurricular activities. She described it like this, and I rewrote it like this: led Taekwondo seminar to empower kids, captain. So these are some of the power words that you need to use in your extracurricular activities, which we'll go over. And of course, the word count. boom, it's 150 characters and I'm within 134. So that's how you go about explaining your extracurricular activities. So we fill out, there's 10 spaces here. Then writing is where you write your personal essays. Got it? So a lot of times there's a lot of alignment issue and everything, and we go over what are the topics. So there are basically 7 different prompts. If you have seen my YouTube channel and my Facebook lives, I've explained over and over and over essays and how to write them. You can go over that. The courses and grades, you have to fill out the education section completely, and it will take you through, like I mentioned, the honors section needs to be filled out as well. You have 5 honors that you can put it in. Got it? And college search, someone said, oh, University of Florida, fantastic. My student is applying for the medical program there. Okay, so we are going to add the school, and you can see it here, University of Florida. So then we are going to start answering them. If you see here, all the information is here. They don't have early decision or early action. It's only regular, it's only regular decision. It's November 1st. And if you see here, there is a common app. There are no writing supplements, but there are college questions. Okay, so you need to answer them tile by tile. I've already filled in here because it's Shreya. She wants to go to is it UFC, or I get confused? Yeah, University of Florida. You fill out everything, emergency contact, and some of them have resumes. So if it's an honors program, you select yes, then your other set of supplemental essays will come here. Okay, you see the word count, it's 400 word count. Oh, it has 2 supplemental essays. Fantastic. Right, so important questions and all that comes into play, right? So this is how typically, somebody said UPenn. Was it UPenn? Carnegie Mellon. Do I have Carnegie Mellon here? I don't. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example of Georgia Tech because it has some very stringent sort of requirements that they need because they sort of need it to be. So you have early action, they don't have early decision. And in Georgia Tech, you can. She's applying for neuroscience because it's a pre-med. It falls under a pre-med sort of a major. So then, of course, you have to select different activities you want to do. So you have the Georgia Tech essay, which is basically why do you want to study that specific major in Georgia Tech. So I have a formula as to how to answer that. I have different formulas for different questions that come. Right, early action 2, it's just so confusing. Early action 1, early action 2, you can go to the early action 2 as well, but I wouldn't do the 2s. If you have decided to go early decision, I would say go to the early decision 1, early action 1. That's it. So that is how we are going to go over completely with your Common App. It's also going to help you with the Coalition app, the resume, and everything. Trust me, Clark is the expert. Okay. So any other questions? Oh, wait, there's a bonus. The cost of the program is $325, but if you apply the coupon code while you check out, which is fall25, you will get $25 off. Okay,